Thank you for staying with us on Independent Television. We're broadcasting live from Benin City, Nigeria. This is Road to 2019. I am Uyi Agumofwegbe. Just last week I told you in the weeks ahead, in light of the 2019 general election, we will continue to have conversations about that big event. Yes, it is a big event because to a very large extent it determines the future of the country. But in the middle of all of these many conversations, we need to look at issues that are topical and very critical to the overall outcome that we all look out for, which is, of course, credible, transparent, and a level playing field for everybody as far as the election is concerned come 2019. But again, it's important to know that the processes that lead up to that point are also very important. One of them is, for instance, the way voters or prospective voters react to issues of election. There is a term, of course, voter apathy. What does it mean? What are the implications? What are the chances that it could also play out in light of the 2019 general election? Of course, we have seen it in the past happen. How do we ensure it doesn't happen again? How do we ensure we address it and tackle it as quickly as possible? At least, in any case, be able to minimize it to its barest. I'm joined by two persons who have handles on this issue about voters' response to issues that have to do with election. Let me start with the gentleman from my immediate left. He's Vincent Ubede. He's a politician and a businessman. Thank you for coming on the program.
Good day, viewers.
Let's also introduce the next gentleman to him, a lawyer and a former member, Edo State House of Assembly, Friday Ogerahi. Thank you for coming on the program.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. Let me begin with you. You have been part of elections in this country as a voter, and of course you had even run, you had been a running mate in this state, deputy governor in this state. What is your assessment of the way people react to elections? Because you campaigned vigorously, for example. What's your assessment of the response you got?
Yes, actually, when it comes to election and the electorates, and when you look at the issue of apathy, people not willing to vote or things like that, or not willing to listen to some politicians, is due to the way things are going in the country. If you talked about my assessment during campaign or whatever, yeah, during campaign, people want to embrace democracy. People are willing to make sure that the country works. And the problem we have is that some politicians, the way they go about this whole thing, it makes our electorate to begin to lose confidence in these whole processes. If you look at, let me take your mind back to some years back. When it comes to things like empty promises, things that are not feasible, things that you cannot do, you begin to tell the electorate, you do this, you do that. A few years back in Edo State here, some persons came and said they were going to control erosion, they voted so much money, they collected so much money, and people believe it. Then they voted for them so that they will come in and make sure that they fix the erosion problem. Just some months back in Edo State, erosion carried the child of one lady who coming to bring the children from school to their home, and the lady lost the child tomorrow. That was how the child died. So what I'm trying to say is that I tell you, make empty promises, and people voted thinking that you're going to do those things that you promised. At the end of the day, you didn't do it. For them to come and vote again, very difficult. They will believe that, oh, my vote might not count. Or okay, if I go there and vote, they will not do what they promised to do. But another thing is that I think I'll let you know is that most of their votes, I will call them negative votes. Votes are being cast in negativity. What are negative votes? If you see a blind man, you know this man is blind, and a particular party bring the man out, those are people now the major parties. They bring a blind man out. The blind man will tell you, oh, I will take you from here to Agbo. I will travel from here to Agbo, if you will follow me. And you know this man is blind. This man cannot see anything.
Not literally.
Because
not literally blind.
Physically blind. Yeah. Physically blind. You know this man is blind. Because you say you assume that you belong to a particular party. Oh, it's our party. Our party say, oh, we want this man. Our party say it must be this man. You go and cast your vote for that man. That you cast it negativity. At the end of the day, you come back and start complaining because the man will not lead you anywhere. The man is blind, and you are aware that this man is blind. So until the voters begin to look at people and say, despite that, I belong to party A, B, C, or D, what can this man really do for me? Can this man bridge the entire ocean for us? can this man build castle in the air? Can this man do? If the answer is no, don't vote for him. Whatever particular political party you belong to. So if at the end of the day you want to follow political party and you cast your vote for a wrong person, they will go there, tell you stories, read yourself and things like that. At the end of the day, when the next election comes, oh, I won't vote. If I go there and vote, they see the same people, the same thing, nothing will happen, nothing will change, and things like that. So I want to encourage our viewers and the voters out there that when it comes to election, when it comes to voting, forget about money, forget about what they're going to give to you. Look at the person in question. Assess the person.
Are people not so hungry to look at the person in question?
Well, yeah, there are people are hungry, but they are not too hungry to look at the person in question. The orientation the people have today is the problem that we have. The orientation is, when during that, during Oshomole's second tenure, I have a cousin who is a mechanic. When I visited him, he said, I just look at him and say, how?
What does that mean?
We won again.
Oh, we've carried the day.
Yeah, we won again. You look at him and say, how does he affect you? How does he reflect in the mechanic work you're doing here?
Even before the election?
No, after the election, no.
Okay,
after the election, he was celebrating.
Okay.
That my money. I say, how does he reflect on what you are doing here?
Maybe he had basis for optimism, but let me allow you catch your breath. Let me allow you catch your breath a little. Let me come to you now, Barrister Agirahi. Do you, in your own observation, think or believe the average Nigerian voter understands the power of the PVC?
Well, this question is a little bit tricky.
Okay.
In the sense that it does not really demand of a straight answer.
Okay.
Of either yes or no.
So we're going to have a narrative.
A narrative. Contextually speaking, one would say that to some extent, many Nigerians, voters at that, do appreciate the enormity and the significance of possessing a voter's card.
Okay.
But the degree of that appreciation and perhaps the number of persons who are voters who actually understand or appreciate the power that they have possessing a voter's card, is what perhaps cause for serious concern. Because I believe that a large number, perhaps larger number of voters do not know the power that they have, be registered to vote. And understanding that power may also call into some attention the fact that before people ever started enjoying the right to vote, what is commonly referred to as universal adult suffrage, voting or being in a position to enjoy the right to elect or to choose those that will handle or manage the affairs of governance in a society used to be an exclusive privilege of very selected few. Either at the time it was reserved for property owners. At some other time it was meant to be for men alone. Until later it was now, like I said, people had to pay the price. People paid even with their lives. People went into serious movement and struggle to ensure that everybody, provided you are up to the age as an adult, will be eligible. Gender notwithstanding. So what I'm talking about is that when people now take delight in our own context, Nigeria, in possessing voters card, only for the purpose of getting a one-day meal ticket, then you understand where I'm coming from. You understand why I say that, yes, some persons who perhaps maybe by reason of their education, maybe by reason of their political awareness and consciousness, understand the fact that a voting right is sacred, and to that extent it will be deployed to some objective use. You know, my brother here tried to give an example, hypothetical as it may seem, that you cannot, because of partisanship, belonging to a political party, now debase that the sacredness of that your voting right. Because you belong to a political party, you know outrightly that this particular candidate that my party has foisted on me or foisted on the party is not deserving of my vote, but because of the very flimsy and petty consideration of being a member of that party, you go along on that day and you use your voters card to achieve that very selfish end. That is, for me, is one example of the fact where our people do not appreciate the importance and the significance of having a voter's card. You know, another way of looking at this is the fact that, as we speak, many, even while you were doing your intro, already have given up on themselves and even the voters card that they have, or the voting right that they have, because they believe that whether or not they vote, the system you know, have programmed itself towards throwing up a predetermined choice. And
it raises the question of how did the system evolve to that point?
Yes.
It has not become the default.
Yeah, it has not become a default, and it's a very serious problem. As a matter of fact, some of us thought that when this administration came to power, preaching change, that one way perhaps they would have actually convinced our people about the sincerity and honesty of the purpose or objective would have been to work on our electoral system, because it has been one area where perhaps, like you mentioned, you know, we have had a situation whereby we are churning out leadership that are not legitimate. If by the shape system that we have, you know, people who did not actually enjoy popular votes now are thrown up as winners of our election. It makes them, by that fact, to be illegitimate leaders and illegitimate government. And illegitimacy can only beget illegitimacy. And a person who believes that he didn't win the election by popular vote will never blink an eye, will never take it seriously, the issue of voters mobilization. And you mobilize people, you mobilize the electorate by convincing them as to your capability and competence and the soundness of the program that you intend to pursue when elected. So when you now have people that are not popular, are not voted for, now declare winners in an election by reason of a default in the system, then you have the situation I was talking about, whereby people will not necessarily just resign to fate by saying whether I vote or I don't vote.
It doesn't make any difference.
It doesn't make any difference. My vote will not make a difference. These people have already made up their mind as to what they are going to do. We have seen that being demonstrated in recent elections. We have seen that being demonstrated. We have seen this winning at all cost syndrome. Winning at all cost syndrome. You know, where, of course, again, you know, people, we have a system today that encourages, seemingly, because if they don't encourage it, they would have dealt with it as a hydra-headed monster that threatens the very fabric of our so-called democracy today. That is the issue of vote buying. Where, of course, people know that when money is now introduced, it is not necessarily the vote that counts ultimately. Because vote, properly so-called, in a democracy must be free and fair and even credible, as it were. For a vote to be counted as a vote, it must be a vote that is not procured by any form of undue consideration or influence. So, but where today you now have a situation whereby it is the highest bidder perhaps that carry the day. A person who ordinarily possesses a voter's card and would be very happy and satisfied to go there and be part of the process, you know, deciding who now governs him or her, will become lackluster, will become disinterested, because voters' apathy, you know, derive from disinterestedness in the process.
Let me pause it there quickly. Let's talk about politicians. Can we blame politicians for everything that's wrong with the electoral process?
Yeah, if you are not blaming politicians, what else will you blame? Will you blame the media? No. Well, politicians have 70% of the blame.
So who takes 30?
Yeah, the security agencies and okay, the security agency and maybe the government. Let me put it that way. Let me separate the government from politicians now.
Okay.
The government says that they are supposed to use the National Orientation Agency to tell people more about this whole thing, and they change their orientation about it. Then the security men, as my brother here have said, that the issue of vote buying, they just close their eyes, turn their back, and watch those things, and for those things to happen. So that is, and that's a very, when you talk about politicians, why I say they are supposed to take 70% of the blame is that the system we are running today, the politicians are so, I don't know, I don't want to use some kind of language because we are on.
Yes, we have to watch the language. That's important.
They have determined to make, not just all, some politicians, they have determined to make the masses poorer and poorer, to remain perpetually poor.
To what end? What's the goal of doing that? Yeah,
so that they will not be able to think straight. So that I tell you, a man that will say, okay, let me not speak again. a man that will die by evening. Sorry, a man that will die at noon will not think of what he or she, what he will eat in the evening.
For dinner.
Yeah, for dinner.
All right.
So he's going to die in the say by 12 o'clock, but will not think of what to eat.
Because by that time would have been gone.
It's no more. So somebody that is hungry, that believe that, oh, I will not even have something to eat by tomorrow. Well, I've already eat as at yesterday evening. Today I say take 2,000 naira to vote for me. They will collect it because
can that also be seen as, for whatever reason, an indictment on the voting public, where most of us are now very short-termed, as it were, in our thinking. We're not futuristic anymore. People just want it now, and they don't care what happens afterwards.
Not that they don't care. They don't have a choice. Not that they don't care. They care because after the election, they will come up and start complaining. Let me give you an example. I said it here the other day. During my election, my adventure, a friend of mine, not just okay, a friend of mine came and said, sir, I'm very sorry. He said, my conscience is still hurting me tomorrow. I said, what happened? He said, I left my home with the decision to go and vote for you. So when I got there, I don't know, let me not mention my political party now. So they gave me 5,000 naira. He said, he doesn't have gas in his house. Told me things that he was lacking. They have no choice than to collect the money, so I will be able to survive. And
obviously, you couldn't provide that for all of the persons who could have voted for you.
I have no need to provide to give anybody money to vote for me. There's no reason for me to give anybody money to vote for me. If you believe in me, you vote for me.
But does this, to what extent does this scare you that this monster of, he called it Hydra-headed, they have several of them, but let's talk about the vote buying elements now. To what extent does this scare you? Because it has permeated the electoral system one way or another.
Yes, it's something that, if not checked, it's going to lead us to a situation whereby the country will regret practicing democracy, if not checked. Because as it is now, if anybody that have money can decide to say, oh, instead of, so the other day when the issue of these two major parties, when Buhari and Atiku issue came up as the two candidates, somebody said, if I was maybe Mr. B, let me not mention his name now, I will allow Mr. A to do at the campaign. I will just keep my money on the day of election and I will share the people.
So rather than campaign up front, distribute money on the day of election.
I will use the money and I will get the vote. So like that, so it's so bad. It is so bad that people have see it as a culture, as a normal something. But the right thing, the one that I have still blame politicians is that the politicians should create an environment that will enable people leave this extreme poverty to a certain level, whereby they will not be tainted with 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira, or things like that anymore. When the issue of demolition or whatever started beginning here, I said in the next 10 years, 8-10 years, we will start seeing the reaction of this whole thing. Today, people are so poor. You see, I posted something on my Facebook this other time. I showed the children of politicians. They were in a foreign land relaxing. I saw the children of the supporters carrying machetes and whatever to fight themselves. The reason is this: if you, as a young man, somebody will come and say, okay, if you're able to do this ABC for me, I'll give you. So they just give you like 10,000-50,000 naira. They'll go and call boys. If you want to stand on their way, because they know what that 50,000 naira will do for them. If you want to stand on their way, they can do anything. That was all lead to. That was all lead to. What will lead to electoral violence and things like that. So it's extreme poverty. That is the problem that we are facing.
Let's look at how we have evolved over time, and then maybe do a comparison between us and another country, which some persons have said is not fair. Anyway, a notable professor was teaching a history class, and he made reference to how that there was a time in the United States where just for you to have people come out to vote, you would have to throw a party for them, music, food, drinks, dance and everything. That was how not interested people were in the US at that time, as far as voting was concerned. But today that's not the case. People are happy, people get excited about elections, they want to go out to vote. Do we also need to find ways to motivate our people to be interested in casting their votes and maximizing their franchise?
Well, I may not be privy to the fact of a time in America where parties were being used to woo voters.
Right.
But indeed, in Nigeria, we have gotten it all wrong. We've started on a very wrong footing, tragically so. Because if you talk about party, holding parties for maybe would-be supporters, where they could eat, drink, dance, I do not see that as an aberration.
Okay.
Because if that is what we were contending with in Nigeria, I would say, thank God, glory be to God. But this one has gone beyond people drinking, eating in parties, because that also, as I can say, goes on in Nigeria. Political parties do hold social functions where they affect their supporters, would-be voters, as it were, and encourage them to go out and vote in Nigeria. That is not the illegality. What has become so debasing is making a man to sell his voting right for maybe 1,000, 5,000. But the point I must make here is that no amount of money is worth your vote, because your vote determines your future. That is the point that is significant. And that is why I spoke about the sacredness of your voting right. And that is why I also said that for you to be able to enjoy this right today, some person had to lose their life for it, fighting for it. So the challenge before us as a people, as a country, as a government, as political parties, as politicians, is to search critically and understand the true meaning and essence of democracy. We must understand that first. And understanding that means factoring in the question of the people. We have not, as a people, perhaps again, narrowed it down as politicians, and narrowing it even further down, political parties come to terms with the fact that democracy is everything about the people. The most universal and most popular definition of democracy had the people mentioned about 3 or 4 times in that one sentence. And that is the definition given by Abraham Lincoln when he defined democracy as the government of the people, for the people, by the people, and for the people.
But the irony of that again is that it will appear the political parties are structured to be way stronger than the people.
Well, they are not necessarily so. They are not necessarily so. I think something is missing in the line of operation.
So let's find the link.
And that link is the fact that we have not been able to put in place a system that guarantees the sanctity of the ballot box. I can assure you, I want you to get this down, put it on record, that the moment the people come to that understanding that their vote will count, no matter what. I tell you, that is the day you begin to see the people getting interested. You see, people enjoy being powerful. That is a social statement. So psychological as may be. They enjoy being powerful, they enjoy being influential. The moment the people come to that realization, it is their vote that will enthrone a president, enthrone a governor, enthrone even a councillor down there, as it were. To that extent, shall they now have confidence of participation and satisfaction deriving therefrom of participation in the process. But today, there is no link. There is a deliberate alienation. And what is causing that? First is the legal framework that we have. I was coming up the other time when I was going to talk about what this government has not done to help make the electoral system credible, to sanitize it further than the way it met it. And the way this panel was once set up in this country, you remember? Under our very the late President Yaradua, who after his election admitted the fact of that his election was flawed, and went ahead to put up a panel led by an eminent jurist in this country, Uwais sat down with his people. They proposed some fundamental reforms
to the electoral process.
Today, those reforms are gathering dust somewhere in somebody's chefs or whatever. Nothing has been done to it. And what does that tell you? For me, it is a serious indictment. And for me again, I consider that as a deliberate sabotage of the political right of our people. Because if you really are interested in getting the people to be involved in the process of democracy, which is what is the issue now, you will do everything. In fact, you will embrace any positive step or action that is on ground towards making that realistic and possible. But when you now see perpetually successive government shying away from what will be the light, then you know that these people are not the right persons that can truly put our democracy on a strong footing. Any democracy that is not ingrained in the people's psyche and thinking, any democracy that does not have the people as its foundation, that democracy is condemned to failure.
Let me allow him to react to that or add something to it quickly. He just talked about how that there's a kind of vacuum, as it were, between the people and the politicians, obviously. In fact, some persons have even insinuated that there's a deliberate agenda to ensure that the people are delineated in the way. How do we ensure that no matter the extent to which people have been disconnected from the process, we can reestablish that connection and make people feel part of it, have a sense of belonging, and truly participate?
Yes, relating the people, the government we do is that it is to change the orientation of the people about this whole thing. Okay. The people presently believe that if I vote or not, my vote might not count. My vote will not count. They already have a pre-designed or predetermined result that at the end of the day they are going to bring the result or bring this better or things like that. But the only thing we can do to change the orientation of the people is just, like as I've said, the media will also have a part to play, politicians will have their own part to play, then the traditional rulers will have their part to play, while the governments will have their part to play. In what way? The traditional ruler will call their people. Things have changed. We've made this mistake before. We don't want to continue this way. Because there's no way you can be doing the same thing the same way and expect different results. If we continue like this, we're going to be having the same problem, even worse than this case not taken. So what we will do is to let the electorate know that, oh, fine, before now it wasn't that good. But as it is now, forget about whatever you're going to go, forget about whatever monetary terms or whatever somebody has promised you, vote the right person and your vote will count. If you vote the right person, now you are very sure that yes, we voted Mr. A, and the people are announcing Mr. B. The masses will have right to protest. Masses have right to protest. Apart from the loser are going to tribunal to pursue his case, the right masses also have right to protest. We are very sure if we have 50 persons in this particular community, today the 60 people knew that, oh, we voted maybe 50 voted for Mr. A, and they are not declaring Mr. B as whatever. They will protest. The council go there and say, they have the right to protest and say, no, this was not our vote. Things like that. And moreover, when you are voting, when you are in a polling center or things like that to do your cast your vote, don't just go there because you want to go there for going there sick, going there to look for, oh, which party is paying the high, which party is not paying whatever. Go there, think of the future of the country, cast your vote and wait and see how your vote will come.
But that has become controversial. They say you shouldn't wait. And a lot of times the authorities even say once you cast your vote, you're done casting your vote, go back to your house. So how do you actually go against that? How do you flout it?
Yes, they are saying that because to avoid violence.
Okay.
If you cast your vote and wait patiently, nobody will come and tell you to leave there. Nobody will tell you to leave there. You can cast your vote and wait patiently. So long you did not constitute nuisance in that environment, nobody will tell you to leave there. So it's just for you to know that, oh, if you do not defend your right, if you do not defend your vote will not count.
So Nigerians have a role to play in this?
They have a role to play. They will literally have a role to play. You must defend your vote. Vote for somebody that you trust that can really deliver for you. Vote and stay there to defend your vote. Or else some persons will come and maneuver the whole thing.
Okay, we're just going to continue this conversation in a bit, but just to remind you, you're watching Road to 2019 here on Independent Television, coming to you from Benin City, Nigeria. We'll back shortly to continue this discussion. Don't go away.
As the race for 2019 elections heats up, join Sonny Duke Okosun every Friday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. as he brings you profiles of key actors, insights, and in-depth analysis on the issues as they unfold on the road to 2019. The stage is set as the political gladiators try to outwit and maneuver their opponents in the politics or politricks on the road to 2019 with Sonny Duke Okosun. Tune to ITV on GoTV channel 107 and Star Times channel 130 every Friday 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Road to 2019 on ITV, a must watch.
Thank you for staying with us on the program. As we begin to wind down now on this discussion, let me come to Barrister Ogira here again. In 2015, January there about 2015, Professor Jega, then the chair of INEC, had said about 15 million voter cards had not been collected. For whatever it's worth, amongst many things, that was reflective of perhaps voter apathy. How are we sure we're not having the same situation again? Because we're hearing of pockets of situations where voter cards have not been collected in many states across this country right now. What does that say again? Is it a way of saying we are becoming indifferent about the election again in light of the 2019 general election, when people don't even go as far as picking up voter cards that are ready for pickup, not the ones they have to go register for anymore?
Well, there are so many factors responsible for this, where you may say, yes, it's one way of taking note of the fact that people are losing interest. Okay. Because if they take the electoral responsibility as a duty, as an obligation to the country, a patriotic and civic responsibility, they wouldn't register and allow their voters card lie in wait. You know, they will readily troop out to collect the voters card. But let me tell you, I'll give you this very information, because rather an enlightened information, because I've been involved, I'm still involved, I've been active in the process. A lot of factors that are not disclosed to the general public are responsible for some of these voters card you find lying down. One of which is that INEC itself must be sincere to itself, must be truthful to Nigerians. The process of registration and perhaps collection, I must tell you, is not clear enough.
How is that?
It's not open enough. There are, if they check their record, you have had people like telling you they want to clean their register. What are they cleaning? They only say that more of rhetoric. For me, it's more of rhetoric. They never get to do it. You find that many of this card, at least a large percentage of the cards that are with INEC today, belong to persons who have either been registered once, twice, or even thrice. So when they register like that, perhaps in different polling units, they have no need, perhaps, necessarily, to go collect the extras, because they already have one valid one with them, which they could use to vote at any time they wish to do so. So INEC will need to look inward, because if they check their data, they will realize what I'm talking about. INEC, again, if we are a people that does things properly, the way they should be done, INEC should be able, even now as we speak, to tell us that yes, this much registered and this much card are available, but among those people that are registered, whose card have been made available now, this much have died. Because you cannot tell me that there is no such thing, there is no such occurrence. This is life.
Right.
These are eventuality.
So a lot of things could have happened in between.
A lot of things could have happened. Some of them who also registered in Nigeria at the time they were here have still traveled. They have still left their old location and move on. And perhaps do not have this record. But I can give you a personal example where, of course, in an election where I was a candidate, there were still, what is it called, dead voters on the voters list, on the voters register. So if we up our game, there will be no room to still find dead persons in our voters register, because these are the avenues for manipulation. And we got to know of this when, because when you vote on an election day, there is some ticking against the name of a man who has cast, a man or woman has cast his vote.
Right.
And we found that persons who have since died were ticked as having voted in that election.
How did you figure that they had died?
Because from the manual of collection, from the manual of collection of voters card, permanent voters card, we found recorded against such names, some of those names, in the manual of collection of voters register, that those persons have actually died. But their names were left on the voters register, and their names were also ticked as having voted at the election. So what we are talking about, that INEC should look out for some of these things. I also mentioned the issue of double registration. They will find, if they look at their record, they are doing their work thoroughly, that some of these people whose card is lying in waste, they are holding a valid card, are already having cards. Double registration, triple registration is going on in Nigeria under the very nose of INEC, and all of that. What does that cause? Wastage of funds. You can imagine the gargantuan amount they mention as what they would require to conduct this election. And of course, some of that money will go into printing of this so-called permanent voters card. And that's why some of us have even advocated that the time has come. If we take ourselves seriously, let us go back to the Uwe's report. Let us do some unbundling. We must do some unbundling of INEC, because this enormity of the so-called multiplicity of the responsibility of INEC is also weighing down on it. INEC perhaps should be made to concentrate on election day duty. I am one person that have advocated, like I want to suggest, that a different body entirely should handle the gathering of prospective voters, that is by way of registration, and be responsible for the production of the voters register that will be handed over to INEC. There is no reason why in this country today we still do not have an integrated data or statistics body that will handle voters registration, because they will know those that are eligible to vote, and on election, at the eve of every election, hand the voter register to INEC for the purpose of conducting the election. Because that is one of the very major reforms that we suggested. Unbundling of the INEC.
I'm going to give you some time to talk about that unbundling.
Yes.
Because, it sounds crucial to this conversation. But let's talk about the youth now. We understand from all indices that they are becoming more interested in the electoral process. They want to participate. They are putting in so much of vigor just to ensure they're part of the entire process. Is that making the case better for this voter apathy that we're talking about?
Well, I would like to say making it better now. We are still where we are because the youths that are interested in politics, yeah, it's a good development that most youths are now interested in politics. But the issue of voter apathy is beyond youth being interested in politics.
Okay.
Because if you go to some villages, rural areas, you meet some persons who are not youth, some old women and things like that, men and other average age and whatever. Those are people who are really not interested about this whole thing. Though some youths are also part of it. So the youths who are interested in politics, if you look at the total number of Nigerian youths, is not up to 10%. So if 90 is showing apathy and 10 is interested, I don't think we are heading anywhere. So as I've said before, the real thing we need to do is to change the rotation of the entire voters.
But we need more than the National Orientation Agency to accomplish that, don't we?
Yes, I've said it before. I said we need the media, we need the traditional rulers, and the politicians as well, if they want to be sincere to themselves. Because if the politicians want to be sincere to themselves, they will call their followers. It doesn't mean if I contest and lose, it doesn't change anything. Just for me to try again. So I will not say this year to be do or die and things like that. I need to tell you, because tomorrow, if we did not take off today, as it is now, the future of those above 25 years is almost gone, if not gone. So they need to...
Why is that?
Yeah, the future of those...
Because they're not voting?
No, not because they're not voting, because of what is obtainable presently. So those people need to make the sacrifice. They need to make the sacrifice and say, oh, if at all my fathers, when I say father now, those the ones before us and even our age, we missed it. Okay, let's see how we can change this situation so that our children yet are born and those below 25 years will not suffer what we are suffering now. So that's what I mean by the future of those above 25 is almost gone, if not gone already. So the issue of youth participation being a positive or whatever, yes, it's okay, but it doesn't really change anything when it comes to voter party. Because most places, I was talking to a lady yesterday. She said, I won't vote for anybody again, my life. I said, why? He said, no, I said, let me do something. If you do not vote to remove that bad person, it means you want that bad person to remain. You begin to complain till you die. So the only thing you need to do is that make that sacrifice. It's just one day, it won't change anything. Make that sacrifice. Go and if that person, if you don't like the situation of the country presently, go there and vote against those in charge presently. If you like the situation of the country, go there and vote for them. So you will stay at home and say, oh, I don't want to vote again because of one thing or the other. You will remain like you complain till you die. So the only way you change the future of your children is to make that sacrifice now. Go to the police center and cast your vote. If you know that what is happening now is not really okay, or what people that are... Look, it doesn't mean most of it must be the ruling party. There are other parties like ADC, the whatever other parties are there. Doesn't mean it must be the two major parties.
But the bottom line is Nigerians must have to participate.
Yeah, they have to.
But the environment also has to be all-inclusive, has to be welcoming, has to be accommodating enough. Otherwise, it's just going to be them versus us situation that we're dealing with. Well,
not actually that. Because what we need to do, as I've said before, is just the sacrifice. And I want to beg our youth, the Nigerian youth, that please, no matter what happens, no matter that they have treated us, go and cast your vote.
They should not allow themselves to be induced,
don't let the inducement should be out of it. Don't let anybody induce you. Forget about the 1 naira. Because if you collect the 2,000 naira today, you're going to complete for a day's 4 years. After the money, but you will not be giving money. Forget about party affiliation. That is the party I belong to. Because you belong to a particular party A or party B, you want to vote for that party, depending on the person they are imposing on you. It's very, very wrong, because you come back and start complaining again. You could be for under 4 years. The next 4 years you make the same mistake. You come back and complain again. Becomes a vicious circle. That is it.
But here, you were talking about bonding a while ago. But let's talk about reorientation. It doesn't sound like it's going to be like a hot knife through butter. It's a whole lot of work. How do we begin to address that?
Yes. Thank you for this very brilliant question, because it's at the roots of the problem we are discussing.
Okay.
Orientation, reorientation, education, mobilization. The lack of it, failure at doing it properly, is at the root of what we are discussing here. And this whole thing borders on what I may call self-affliction.
Okay.
A problem that is self-inflicted. First, I think it was my friend here who mentioned the fact that there are so many persons to blame for this. Whether
government, the people,
exactly,
politicians.
Yes. So the first point would be that we need so much more and more and more of education, political education.
Sounds like we can't get enough of it.
We can't get enough of it. We must continue at doing that. And the first point of call for me will be the political parties. Except they be dishonest, the responsibility to mobilize the people around your program, manifesto, policies that you intend to execute in government is yours. The political parties, their candidates, have and own the electorate that responsibility to market itself, to even make the electorate become alive to the fact that they alone can determine the outcome of an election, and no other body can do that for them. It is the responsibility of the political parties. But we have seen a political order with political system, political parties that have also come to that position that this thing is also not about how many people we get on our side. It is more on how criminally smart we can be. How can we undermine the process to get the result? Because this is one system that is more like the end justify the means.
But can we continue to undermine the system and expect a better outcome?
No, of course not. You can see that if you look at where we are coming from. Let me even limit it to between 1999 to where we are now.
Okay.
We are not getting any improvement. In fact, it will seem where we are coming from appears to be better than where we are now. Some time ago, when we did the 2015 election, right there at my own polling booth, I think I granted an interview to this very great media house, when I said that Jega, who was the chairman of INEC at that time, had committed grave economic sabotage against the people of Nigeria by spending so much money into the purchase of the card reader machine that was never intended first to be used, or when it is applied, the suitability of it for the purpose of that election was not guaranteed. As a matter of fact, going further, it was INEC lawyers paid by INEC money, that first went to the court to canvass and appoint against the card reader, or the ground that the card reader was not recognized by the Electoral Act, and so it couldn't have been one that would be used for that election. But that aside, the point really is we cannot continue to undermine the system and expect that we are going to get good results. But the next question you may want to ask is, are these people that we think are managing and handling our affair interested in having a better order? And I will tell you right away that majority of them are comfortable with the way the system is, because it satisfies them. So that the ball again now comes to the people. The people must seize the initiative. I do not agree that the people have no choice in this matter.
They do have a choice.
They have a choice. They have a choice in the matter. It is said that the people desire the kind of government that they have. Same also, a people desire the kind of society that they have. If you elected somebody some time ago to be your governor, to be your member of National Assembly, to be your president and your situation has not improved. In fact, it is deteriorating. All of the promises that person made to you have not been met. Then you should challenge the system. You as a person should challenge the system. And one of such ways of doing it is to realize the fact that on the day of election, you will not only vote, you will ensure your vote actually counts. And not just also allow your vote to count, you must shun all vices. You know, so another area we must look at quickly when I mentioned the issue of unbundling.
Unbundling, right?
Is the fact that, do you know that most electoral crimes are not punished in Nigeria?
Why? Is that
even murder?
Is that the position of the law?
That is not the position of the law. Even murder. A man could be killed on election day and could be explained away as being a political thug, and nobody will be taken to court to be proscribed for it. I want to be contradicted on this point, that anybody who has been killed, that killing had been be a subject of any judicial inquiry in Nigeria. I want to be contradicted on that. So when people now fear that if they should fall into the untoward on election day, that whatever they see is their own cup of tea, that the system will not be interested in it, do you expect them to go and risk their life, their limbs, and what have you on election day? So when we are looking at this issue of apathy towards election, voting and all that, we must also look at many other factors other than the issue of education. And what am I saying in essence? The system is not helping matters. The more the people are intimidated to stay at home, the better for that desperate politician who is vying for an election. How he get there, like I said before, does not matter, provided he get there. So we must put in place a situation whereby people who go to vote on election day feel safe. They should not only feel safe, they should know that they will go there safely and return safely. They should not be made subject of even official harassment, military harassment. Nigeria want to go to election, it will be like preparing for war.
How do we change that?
Every election we have had in recent time have been elections where we mobilize heavy military machinery. The much that we have not even mobilized against insurgents in the northeast of Nigeria. So why is it that we are putting so much effort, getting soldiers, getting policemen, even naval officers to go police our election? Is it not because even the government of the day feel insecure by the process? And it's not as if this also guarantees the sanity of the boss anyway, or the ballot anyway. Because most times it is seen as a ploy by the ruling party to overwhelm their opponents. Most of them are not. So the time has come where we, as a people, must put on our thinking cap, whereby we could have elections where you could even vote from your home. The what is it called? The electronic voting system that was introduced recently, I'm not aware now that perhaps that has been passed into law. So why are we dragging foot with issues that we put onto the same page with this democracy that we admire so much? The issue of the orderly election that the National Assembly have taken so much of their time to look into. You know how many defeats are suffered in the hands of the executive, with the president refusing assent, because these two have something to do with the issue of voters' apathy. Once you start your voting or your election with the #1 seat,
yes,
and the man, one particular candidate is declared winner, you know what they say, call it in Nigeria political parlance, bandwagon syndrome. Every other election will almost inevitably follow that direction. So our legislators, God bless them, some of them, they thought of us and said, no, we must reorder the sequence of election. Let us start from the very base and move up to the highest point. But for reasons that are unknown to the public, the president, the sitting president, President Muhammadu Buhari, has stubbornly, with the greatest respect, refused to give assent.
No, I think we need to take back that word, because the man had given Nigerians reasons why he wouldn't.
Okay, let me say blatantly. I will take back Stonebully. I will take back Stonebully and use blatantly, because why? There is a lot of good sense in reaction.
Let me just come to you quickly, because we don't have all the time now. In 30 seconds, what's your last word?
Well, my last word to viewers and voters out there is, please, 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 don't let anybody intimidate you. Don't let anybody push you away from your right. You must not sleep over your right. Go out there and vote. Don't think that your vote will not count. Your vote would count. If you do not vote to remove a bad leader, you will forever remain suffering. You must go there and vote whoever you believe that is the right person. And if you are voting, you don't vote along, it must not be along party lines. Make sure that the person that you are very sure that, yes, this person will be able to deliver for you, is better you will vote for.
Okay, I think that's where we're just going to leave this conversation. I've been talking with Vincent Ogbaide. He is a politician and a businessman. Thank you for coming on the program.
You're welcome.
But also here is a lawyer and a former member Edo State House of Assembly, Honorable Friday Ogerahi. Thank you for being on the program too.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm Uyi Agumofwebe. We'll be back here next week, and we'll be looking at a topical issue in light of the 2019 general election. So the countdown continues.